Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, you're welcome. My name is Rosina Sharon, and today we are going to do a transformation video on this beautiful soul over here. And before we do that, kindly subscribe, share your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll be reading all of them kama kawaida, and if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. With no further ado, let us go straight into the video. So to start off, we're just starting off with lining using the Davis number 3 eye pencil. This is like my #1 favorite eye pencil ever to use. I just used a bit of a Becca Primer on her eyebrow area first before I started lining, because she's a bit oily, very oily around that area, so I had to make sure it was dry enough. And then after lining, I'm just going to use the same Becca Primer to brush through her eyebrows and then press it in so the eyebrows are very intact before I start filling in. And then after that, we're just going to draw hair-like structures all through her eyebrow, and especially the areas where I felt like there is a space. That is where I'm going to concentrate on the hair-like structures more. And then after we're done with that, we're just going to clean her eyebrow. I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn for this. I'm not going to start directly from the inner corner. After I am done cleaning the other areas, that is when I clean the inner corner, we're using the remaining product on the brush. And then on the upper side of the brow, we're going to use a foundation to clean instead of a concealer, so it's easier to blend in when we're doing the face. After cleaning the eyebrow, make sure you blend in the products. On the upper side, blend the foundation onto the forehead. The lower side, just blend it inwards. And then after we're done with that, before we apply eyeshadow, we're going to use the Plouise eyeshadow primer. We are going to blend that in starting from the lower lid going up, so it blends into the concealer we used. We don't want that white shade on the upper side of the lid. We're just going to blend it in to the concealer we used previously. For eyeshadow, we're going to start off with the brown transition shade. We are going to apply that starting from the outer corner in a C shape, from the outer corner going towards the inner corner. When we are moving to the inner corner, we concentrate that on the upper lid. And the first brush we're going to use is a very small brush for the first transition. And then after that, we're going to blend in the first transition with an orange shade. We are using a more fluffy brush for this. So to blend in, we're using circular motions, and then we're blending the edge of the first transition, okay? Do not blend it onto the eyebrow. We're just blending in the edge of the first transition. And then after that, when I'm using this technique, I normally leave a bit of space around the lower lid, as you can see, and that is where I'm going to apply the crease shade. And for us today, we're going for a bright nude. It has a pink undertone. I know you cannot see it here per se, but it has a pink undertone, so that is what we're going to use for the crease region. And then after, we're just going to darken the outer corner of the transition. And then after we're done with that, we're going to draw our wing eye, and we're going to draw a very small wing eye, okay? So for this eye makeup, we are going to do an eye makeup that flatters her eyes. Like, we do not want the makeup to overpower her beautiful eyes, so we're not going to draw a very, like a long or very thick wing eye. We're just going to do something simple that is going to complement her eyes. And all the products used on this makeup tutorial will be on the description box, so kindly check the description if you want to see the products. So moving on, we're just going to clean her face first before we start applying product on her face. I did that when the eyelash glue was setting on the lashes, so don't worry about the lashes, but the glue was setting when I was doing this. And then after we're done with that, I'm just going to use the Golden Lip Hydrating Mist on her face, on her bare face, before I start applying the moisturizer and the sunscreen. just to give it a very natural glow. You can see her skin is glowing. Yeah, that is what we were going for. And then after that is when I applied the lashes before I started with the moisturizer, sunscreen, and you know, the whole face prep. And then after applying the lashes, we're just going to curl them. It is a very, very important step. Very important step. If you're looking to become a makeup artist, make sure you curl lashes after you're done applying them on your client. And then after that, before I start the face, I normally do the waterline before I move on to the face, because I don't want to be touching her face after I have done a foundation. It might ruin, you know, the whole face thing. So I do that before I start I finish up with the face prep, sorry. So after that, we're going to use the Cerave AM moisturizer. This one is inclusive of sunscreen, so we're just going to apply that, blend it onto her skin and allow it to set fast before we move on to applying primer. And look at her eyes, guys. Yo, I was going for an eye look that was going to bring out her eyes. Yeah, and I think this look is doing so. Let me know in the comment section. And we're going to apply that all over her face, give it time to sink into the skin before we move on to primer. So after that, for primer, we are using the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer, concentrating mostly around the T-zone region, because that is where she produces oil the most, and her skin is very oily around the T-zone area. So that is why we're going with the primer, starting off from that zone, and then tap it in, allow it to sink into the skin, allow it to set fast, like dry out completely before you move on to applying foundation. So after the first prep is done, we move on to foundation, and I'm using the, let me tell you, like, this is my #1 favorite so far foundation. I'm using the Narcissistic foundation. I'm going to use the Nars foundation, Nars foundation. And then I'm going to use a brush to blend it in, tap. It has very good coverage. Like, I love this foundation, for real. And then it has a soft matte finish, not that matte that is going to make your skin look whitish or ashy. This one just gives you a soft, you know, finish. It looks really good. That is the foundation I'm using, the Nars foundation. Yeah, so that is what we're going to apply all over her face, and then avoid applying fresh product around the corners of the nose and the under eye. So yeah. And then when it comes to applying foundation on the forehead, I normally start in between the eyebrow going up, so I avoid using too much product around the hairline region. And always remember to blend in the neck. Very, very important. And then after that, before we start highlighting with the concealer, I'm going to use a cream blush around the higher points of the cheeks, and then blend it in immediately. Blend it in immediately. This is a step I use mostly for bridal makeup. It gives a very warm finish to the cheeks when you're done. I love it. Not like a very harsh contour thing, just a subtle warmth to the face. And then after that, we're going to highlight. And for her, because she is very oily around the T-zone area, for her highlighter I am using the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. So starting from the under eye, inner corner, outer corner, and then I blend it in both sides before I move on to the bridge of the nose, and just a tiny bit around the forehead. And for the bridge of the nose, 3 dots is enough. Just 3 dots. That is enough. Don't do too much product around this area. And then again, blend up. Blend. Yeah. And to blend in the concealer, I am using a beauty blender instead of a brush. I just prefer using a beauty blender when it comes to concealer, blending in the concealer. And then after that, let me show you a technique I recently learned that is going to give you the, what is it called, like a filter finish, very smooth without it being very ashy. So you start off by applying a finishing powder, like a lighter shade of a finishing powder, a compact finishing powder in all the areas you highlighted using a concealer. That is what we're going to preset with. And then for application, just press it in and keep blending in until you don't see any residue. And then same thing on the bridge of the nose, forehead, and you can do this around the lip region as well. And then after you're done presetting with the finishing powder, that is when now you can use a setting powder on top of that. Make sure you use a tiny amount of setting powder. It is going to give you the baked, it is like a baked finish, but a more smoother baked finish. I don't know if you guys understand. Yeah. So that is the technique I recently learned, and it works magic, especially for oily skin. Instead of you just going right ahead and baking, use this technique, and it is going to be a smoother finish than the baking, just baking, you know. And then after that, we're going on to contour. And for her cheek area, I just wanted it to have more of a bronzed look instead of a very sharp contour, because we just wanted to give the face some warmth. And then we're going to contour the forehead, connecting it into the bronze on the cheek. And then after we're done with contouring the forehead, we're going to contour the nose using a smaller brush. And for her nose contour, I did not want a very harsh contour. I wanted it to look contoured but not very harsh. So for this, we're going to use very little product, starting off with a smaller brush to place in the contour lines. And then after that, we're going to blend it in with a very clean brush, clean and fluffy brush, so it blends in. On the upper side, you blend it into the eyeshadow, lower side just blend it down. And then after we're done with that, we're just going to go over the face with the finishing powder, and we're going to use a very big fluffy brush for this. And just look at her face, guys, just look at her face. I love. And then after that, we're just going to set in using the golden lip setting spray. And then after we're done with all that, we're just going to highlight a bit on the tip of the nose and just a tiny bit. Like, we want that glow to be seen only when the light hits her face. We don't want a very harsh highlighter. And then she wanted red lipstick, so that is what we're going for her lips. And guys, before you start contouring every client harshly, make sure you understand the face shape of your client, okay? Don't just be doing harsh contours on everyone. Do something that is going to flatter her face shape, her eye shape, all that. And that is the final look, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I love how it turned out. Her eyes look beautiful, and she's a very young girl, so we did not want to do a makeup that is going to age her. So yeah, we wanted to maintain the high youth and make sure we enhance the best features of her face. So that will be all for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.